Captain on the bridge.
Alright, Captains, we are back here on the bridge, and today, yes, we will be going over the question, is it worth it to play Star Trek Online in 2024? Before we get into this video, Captains, do us a huge favor and hit that like button, as it does help the channel. But also, if you're new here, and of course this video is more catered to you new Captains, welcome. Consider subscribing here to the YouTube bridge, where we're always on the lookout for like-minded Captains, where we can share our love, our passion for Star Trek Online, but also things Star Trek. Now that said, here we go. Captains, as I said, this video is going to be answering the question, is it worth it to try and play Star Trek Online in 2024? So what we'll do is, of course, drop our 2 ECs, go over some of the points, kind of just a beginner's sort of points of why you should start playing Star Trek Online in 2024. And then at the end, give our conclusion. So, again, if you're new here, welcome. One of the things that you can do here in Star Trek Online is, firstly, create your own captain. And this is the screen where it all starts. Once you download it, this is where you're going to end up. And all you got to do is click up here where it says new character. And as of the drop of this video, there's a couple things happening. So this is going to be dropping February 15th, 2024. 2 things are happening. One, there's going to be actually a Klingon recruitment event. And that is one of many recruitment events that drops during a year. And in this particular one, you get to create a Klingon character. And with that, you get great rewards all across your account. And it can be used definitely by all of your alts that you create in the future. We're not going to go into that detail, as there are videos there that go over that, but this is kind of starting out. Now, having said that, you can pick from Federation, a Klingon, Romulan, a Temporal or a TOS, the original series, the Jem'Hadar, and even the Discovery series. So all of Star Trek essentially is represented here still in Star Trek Online, and they've done a great job, I believe. Now, I will say this, the game is not 100% perfect. There are some videos that you'll come across here of us dropping our ECs and saying, yeah, sometimes our thoughts and our sort of love for Star Trek kind of brings us forward, but sometimes doesn't align with what's happening in game. But regardless, at the core, it's still a great starting experience to play Star Trek Online, mainly for the story. So once you create a character, and the creator customization here is pretty vast. Recommendation wise of what to start a character, if you're just going to try it out for the story, go with whatever you want. But if you really like to customize your characters in terms of how they look cosmetically, any race that you pick here, or faction I should say, pick the alien sort of option there. And then from there, you can then just make it look, you can still make it look human, make it look alien, of course, but then you have a bunch of those options. Now, we're not going to talk about endgame. This is just, again, trying Star Trek Online and our recommendations on why, and the reasons why. So, there's that. Once you do that, there's a tutorial you'll have to go through, and each of these factions have a very, very good sort of starting experience, from the Federation, the Klingon, the Romulan, the original series, the Dominion, and Discovery. Very good. And yeah, we recommend definitely trying each one out. And their starting arcs will be very different, but then it'll all align up in the same thing. So we're going to go in-game now, and we're going to show off the story here, because that's kind of mainly why we're recommending to try Star Trek Online, is the story experience, because it's great. There is so much story here, and it's backed up by a lot of legacy characters over the years. Just now, the recent drop of the 14th anniversary here in Star Trek Online sees Harry Kim, sees also the returning of great characters like Kumarke. So Kumarke is a character you will all get to know, but here with the event going on here, we have now Ezri Dax from DS9, but we have a bunch more of legacy characters that are here in Star Trek Online. Ezri Dax is the latest one to join here, and even starting from the first story arc, you'll see a lot of characters that have joined from the Star Trek universe here in Star Trek Online. But there are 17 story arcs, and within these story arcs, when you click on them, there are a bunch of missions that you go through here. And again, so once you get through the tutorial, the beginning part of any creating of your character, you'll get to the story. But the story they've worked on here over the last 14 years have been absolutely wonderful. One of my personal favorites is the Iconian War. This is kind of when I got into the game back in 2014. It was still kind of in the middle of the Iconian War, but the stories are great, filled with a lot of nostalgia nuggets, memory berries from episodes, of course, from past series, and it's really a great Star Trek experience if you just play for the story. There's a lot of nuances in getting to play and starting to play, because there's ground combat and space combat, but space combat is kind of the strength of Star Trek Online, and that is kind of where mainly a lot of us focus on. And playing Star Trek Online, you will be able to get free ships as you play. Not only starter ships as you level up, the max cap level here is 65. But also, as the drop of this video, February 15th, it is also now the start of what is known as the event campaign. What's the event campaign? Well, the event campaign is something that they introduced a couple of years back that gave us a choice as we participated in events throughout the year, when we have filled out our campaign progress right here, to either get a premium tier 6 ship, 2 tier 6 ship coupons, and or one of the currencies here in Star Trek Online low buy. Now that was years past. This year they have changed that up. They're gonna give all of these rewards to us. Now, in years past, there's 5 events that we had to participate in. This year in 2024, there's going to be 6. But I believe that is a great change, because within these specific events, you also get very, very unique rewards. Like the one for starting today, the Pavo event, you're going to get a special space set. And throughout all these events, you'll get like space sets, ground sets, weapons, unique stuff only that you can get doing these events. Now, of course, you have to participate in these events for usually about 14 to 20 days to get enough progress. But if you do the event every day for however long it's on, or for any of the events, you will cap your progress out at the max and should be able to claim all of these prizes probably on about the 3rd or 4th, by the 3rd or 4th event. And in that time, you can pick any of the ship rewards. And they are great rewards. Like the reward info here, look at all the ships that you can pick from. And this list doesn't even include the ships that will be included in the 2024 campaign, which are the premium ships that came out last year in 2023. So there's going to be a lot of ships to choose. And some of these are the ships that you can actually get and seen on the show. For example, those of you who've just maybe watched Star Trek Picard, those ships are available to you right away. The Excelsior is here, the Sagan Command Cruiser, that is the Ford nacelle ship that we saw there. If you're a Lower Decks fan, Lower Decks is even represented here in Star Trek Online. You can get the Cali class, or the California Miracle Worker Utility Cruiser, which is just the California class. So you can get those ships from Discovery. Every ship that is included in this we've seen on screen. So that is one of the great things. Now these premium ships can be get and acquired other ways, but we're not going to focus on that right now. Again, I know there's a lot of information that we're going to go through, but basically this event campaign is a great way to start Star Trek Online and your sort of starting experience to get these great rewards. Not only will you get the individual rewards these each events give, but also at the end of it all, you get these 3 great choices, because before we only get this or that, but now we get everything. So that is a huge reason to start playing Star Trek Online, along with the episodes. Great. Now there's something also called Space Barbie. Well, that's making your ship look pretty, making your captain and your crew look pretty, because again, the customizations here is absolutely mind-boggling, and one can get lost hours on end by kit bashing their ships, also dressing up their crew, and of course your captain. So on top of that, there is a C store here, or Zen Store, where you can use in real life money to buy the currency Zen to buy these things. You don't need this though. I'll bring this up because I want to say you really don't need this. I have a free-to-play account on PlayStation, because not only can you play this on PC, but you can also play this on PlayStation and Xbox. Now, my PC account I've been playing since 2014. My PlayStation account, I've been playing about 2 years now. So it is 2024, so 2022, I started that account. And we've been able to progress through all the events there and get everything that we've wanted so far. Even a mega bundle, which is the 10th anniversary bundle, which includes all the hero ships, 10 hero ships from the Star Trek series. Didn't have to even use a dime, a penny. All I used was just time investment. And that's the other thing. This is a time investment if you want to. You can play this as much or as little as you want. Same thing with the event campaign. You will be rewarded with whatever time you put in this game. The very bare minimum, if you're not looking to get into collecting ships or something like that, the story is still great. Like I said, there's 17 story arcs, and within those 17 story arcs, missions that will take you days, weeks, maybe even months to get through. The level cap here is 65, and you should be able to reach that within probably the 3rd, 4th story arc. But again, progressing also through the game in story mode, we recommend you do it under normal. Don't go advanced, don't go elite, just go normal to enjoy the experience. Because there's a lot of text, there's a lot of voiceovers, things that you just want to take your time and sort of soak in while you're doing the story missions. What's the end game, you may be asking at this point when you reach at the end of the story? Well, the end game could be whatever you want. There is definitely multiple end games in Star Trek Online. One of them is collecting ships, like right here. Again, you can get this ship, one for free, not only as you're leveling, but also the premium version of this ship. You can. Along with a bunch of other things when you're leveling. So you can collect ships, you can go ahead and create characters, backstory on characters. You can do DPS chasing if you want. That is a thing here. There is a community here of also min-maxes. That is a whole different other scene, and that is a very complicated subject to kind of get into, but it's there for you. And it's something that you will learn gradually over time. The systems in this game while you're playing can be deep. It can be, and can be overwhelming. And one of the reasons why we decided to do this video is when we were streaming the other night there, we rated someone who was starting, and I just heard all the questions. Is this a good game to play? And I find myself wanting to actually make this video to state the reasons why I think you should start playing. Because the story is rich, you can get free stuff throughout there, you don't have to spend a penny, it is free to play. And of course, if you want to, then you can start going. But we recommend just going to the story first, enjoying. There are some great story elements there. Just the latest episode that they released there with Ezri Dax was probably 10 out of 10 for me. Not gonna spoil it, but a 10 out of 10. And those types of stories that they are continuing on from, of course, the first arc till now they were kind of dropping them about quarterly throughout the year, and they kind of line them up with usually with events and such. And even those come with unique rewards. So we're always getting rewards here in Star Trek Online. We're always getting free stuff and getting new story and new voice actors. And even though that there was kind of trouble there at the very end of 2023 with Star Trek Online now going to Decca Games, there's a bunch of videos that we made on it and even a kind of a podcast that we did. Star Trek Online going to Decca Games right now, how I interpret it is a good thing, because Decca Games, and again, we're not going to get too deep into it, but Decca Games is where games go to, I know some people say retire, or it's kind of an old folks home for games, but Decca Games will be taking care of Star Trek Online, I believe, and sort of taking advantage, at the very least, of all the Star Trek we have going on. That's the other thing. There's so much Star Trek going on right now, and all of it is being represented here in Star Trek Online. And last year in Star Trek Picard, the Star Trek Online ships, some of them became canon. Even the flagship of Star Trek Online became the Enterprise F in Star Trek Picard. So there is a relationship between Star Trek Online and Star Trek. So much so that I believe that relationship will really extend this game's lives 5 years beyond. Even if all the Star Trek ended right now, all the TVs, movies, series, and all that, I believe Star Trek Online would still be able to continue in creating stories, because they did so prior to Discovery starting. Star Trek Discovery really rebooted Star Trek Online, I believe, because without it, we wouldn't have everything that we have in game now. So I know that's a lot of information to kind of soak in. You may have a lot of questions. How do you do this? As you start? The tutorial systems here in Star Trek Online are not the best, but there are resources here, not only here on our YouTube channel, but various YouTube channels. They're out there. You can just go Star Trek Online guides, and there are guides out there. And for us personally, we'll be making more of this guides, kind of going off of this video on perhaps like how to start creating your character, how to start your ground combat, your space combat, what are weapons choices, etc., etc. What are the ships, the classes, different classes too. There is that too. You have 3 different classes here that you can make your character: tactical, science, and engineering. We recommend tactical, but again, if you're just creating your first very brand new character, go with what you want. If you want to be a science character, go ahead. Engineer character, go ahead. If you're not going to be chasing the end game, it won't matter. What's going to matter is you're going to have fun. And I really do think trying Star Trek Online in 2024, you're going to have fun. Because the major draw of this game, obviously, is the ships in itself. And the space combat is super addicting. It really is. And as for content, kind of touched on that earlier, there's going to be definitely a lot more content, especially here in 2024 with this new event campaign that we have. There's going to be 6 of those. So within those 6, again, we're going to get unique rewards from each one, like I had mentioned earlier. And that in itself will be able to help you grow your experience, especially when you start creating multiple characters, because it is fun to create also multiple characters. I personally have about 19 plus, but I only play usually about 10 really. And You know, again, another question that may pop up, how about resources, in-game resources? How do you get those? Well, again, there are videos out there, and we'll hopefully in the future we'll also create videos as well. So again, as the drop of this video, we do recommend creating your character, getting to the tutorial, starting the event campaign so that you can have these awesome rewards, because the majority of us never even expected this, because for the last 3, 4, 5, 4 campaigns, 5 campaigns, we've just been having to choose one of these, but now we're going to be getting all of them. So that is awesome. And the low buy here, not only can you get ships, but you can also get gear from that as well. So again, a lot of information, but just know that this is a very good way to gain your starter ships, I should say, because off the bat, if you even use your low buy to get ships, you can get 4 ships just from this campaign alone, and it's just worth it. All you got to do is put the investment and time into doing the events without having to pay a penny. And again, the major draw here, of course, is the story and how rich and how much they've done over the years here in Star Trek Online, and it will continue on. So answering the question again, is it worth trying Star Trek Online 2024? Yes, if albeit for the story, the ships, and the experience that you'll have. And there are a lot of fellow captains that you'll meet along your journey here when you start your STO career, and a lot of us, ourselves included, will help in any way we can via videos or when we're live streaming, not only ourselves but other content creators here for Star Trek Online. So my captains, again, if you are deciding to start, welcome not only here to the YouTube Bridge but also to Star Trek Online, and we hope that you have fun. We hope that you have the experience that we've had over the years, that has been a net positive overall. And of course, we hope that we see you out there in Star Trek Online. So captains, do us a huge favor, hit that like button, but also comment below. Let us know if you did actually start today. And if there are those fellow captains who are here been with us, why don't you drop your 2 ECs there in the comments section, giving some of our newer captains some tips, some advice on how to start also, because ours is kind of just a generalization, really a quick answer of the question. When I say quick, it's like a 25-minute video, but trying to emphasize the fact that you can still get a great experience even if you're just starting off here in 2024. So again, consider subscribing here to the YouTube Bridge, as we're always on the lookout for like-minded captains, and we will leave it on this note.
Live long and prosper.